What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here. Quick little edit before we jump into today's video. Later in the episode of me talking about High School DxD, I do talk about the animation, how it changed between some of the seasons. Now, originally in the video that you're going to see, I'm talk about how the animation changed between seasons 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Uh, Correction on that. Seasons 1, 2, and 3, the animation stays roughly the same. It's going into season 4 is when the season or the animation changed to a much more brighter coloring and tone. So just wanted to do a quick little editing on that. But guys, enjoy the video. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you later. What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend. We are back to talk about some more anime. If you saw by the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about High School DxD. Now, this is like the previous week, last Friday, I talked about with my kind of like thoughts on Goblin Slayer. I came across this also on TikTok, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I'm going to check this out. And boy, was I surprised to see what this show was about. Now, um, again, this is another anime that I did not even know had been out for as long as it had. It has 4 seasons. Now, a lot of people and a lot of fans are wanting a 5th season because at the end of the 4th season, it kind of does leave things in a somewhat of a cliffhanger, or at least a to be determined kind of state. But as of right now, there has been no indication of a 5th season for High School DxD. Now, there's, like I mentioned, there are 4 seasons. Season 1 came out in, let me see. Season 1 came out in 2018. Oh no, I'm sorry, no. Season 1 came out in 2012. And there's something I want to talk about when it comes to the animation of this show, but we'll talk about that in a second. But season 1, 2012. Season 2, a year later, 2013. Season 3, 2 years later, um, 2015, and then the last one came out in 2018. So it's been almost 8 years since this show ended, and I didn't even know this show was even out there at that time. Because again, I mentioned this when I was talking about with Goblin Slayer. I did not watch a lot of anime growing up. The some I did, it was like Toonami on Adult Swim on Saturday nights. I wasn't all that into anime, but I checked it out. I was like, okay, this seems interesting. So, where do I want to start with this? Okay, first and foremost, let's get this out the way. There is a lot of anime titties in this show, like a lot. Okay, I don't know if you want to classify it as gooner content or not. Whatever. There's just a lot of anime titties in this show. Beside that, I thought the show was actually really, really good, and I actually really liked the characters in this show. So the series focuses on one of these characters, Issei Hyodo, um, high schooler. I think like a sophomore high school throughout this entire series. Um, and he has a sacred gear, which is a like basically, I guess, to plainly put, a magical item that there are very few humans who do have these items and stuff like that. What he said in Issei's case, he has his sacred gear is the Red Dragon Emperor, one of the mightiest creatures and most deadliest of I guess the known underworld, and he has a counterpart called the White Dragon Emperor, and these two were beings who clashed with each other for generations throughout the many different hosts of each of these sacred gears. Now, these were two dragons during a period which there was a war. So to get the idea of this, of the landscape of this show and the world of High School DxD, you have you basically got, you got heaven, you got the underworld, and things like that. But you mainly got these different factions. You've got angels, fallen angels, and devils. Now, for several centuries, or at least I can't remember the exact amount of years, there had been a war going on where multiple sides of angels and devils and fallen angels had been killed. Um, there were dragons in this show, but they chose to not get involved in this war, except for at a certain point, the Red Dragon Emperor and the White Dragon Emperor, they got involved. Um, and some interesting enough, the war with the angels, devils, fallen angels, that had to stop to basically defeat both the Red and White Dragon Emperors. So that's basically I'm gonna make it, and cause I think you should go watch the show because I think it's a really good show. So back with Issei, he I mentioned how this show has anime titties. He and his two friends are just they're high schoolers. They're horny high schoolers. That's the best way to put it. Always trying to find a way to look up girl skirts, see some booby action. They watch some porn on the side and stuff like that. And it is just it's part of who he is, and it does go throughout the entire series of the show that he is. This man is a horn dog. He he is. Um, there's a moment where in episode one, I believe, I just finished this series up like a week or two ago, and there was a moment where like him and his friends were like peeping on girls changing in like their locker room. They got the crap beat out of them, and we get an introduction to Rias Gremory. Now, throughout the episode, like the animation for these first two seasons, I loved it. I love the animation style. The later seasons, I mean, I don't know too much about how I feel about that just yet. Even after finishing the series, because it's such a huge leap from the tone of it. But that's beside the point. Meanwhile, basically the first couple episodes of season one revolves around Issei becoming basically a lower class devil. So he almost dies by a fallen angel named Yuma. Uh, Luckily, Rias saves his life and makes him one of her pawns. So chess is such a huge thing in this series because each of these characters are represented as chess pieces. So Issei is a pawn. He has, I think, eight. I think it's like 8 or 9 pawn pieces in him. That's how much Rias used to, or Rias infused in him was that many. We get introduced to Kiba. Now Kiba is a knight. He's one of Rias's knight. We do meet some other ones, not just within the Gremory family, but on the outside as well. But for the time being, throughout season one, the group is relatively small. So you got Kiba, who is a rook. I'm sorry, Kiba, who's a knight. You got Kokono, who is a rook, and we learn some extra stuff about her in the later seasons. You have Akano, who is a queen, and then obviously Rias as the highest level devil of them all. She's a king. Now the thing with Rias is that she's basically the next head of the Gremory family. Her brother Serzech is essentially the new Lucifer of the underworld, of the devils and all that stuff. So she's basically the one holding the title of of Gremory. What I loved about this series is as we go through the seasons, we learn how Rias came into each and every one of them of their lives, and essentially recruited them into the family. And that is a big thing here, is the family vibes of these characters. We You got Kiba, who barely survived a experiment with holy swords with like the church and everything like that. You got Akano, who is the daughter of a devil and a fallen angel. Kokono, uh, she is one of two kind of. I remember, I'm trying to think of the best way how to describe them. One of two like cat demons who have extraordinary powers. So season one, I'm trying to remember all the seasons by memory. But season one introduces us to these characters and also a new character named Ozia. Now, Ozia is a character who is basically working with a church. She basically has her sacred gear is she's able to heal, and her and Issei become very close. Obviously, he you know nearly dies trying to protect her on several occasions and stuff like that. Um, she eventually becomes a devil in Rias Gremory's family and everything. So she becomes a bishop. And she's not the only one. We'll meet another one in later season two, I believe, is where we first get introduced. Um, and so the thing is, it was so what I loved about this show. Like I mentioned, the animation, loved it. The character development, I love it. There is obviously an attraction between Issei and Rias that spans throughout the four seasons. But what gets so funny and interesting just watching the series is that the other female characters also start to take in Issei. Now Issei is, even though he is a horn dog, pervy guy or whatever, he very much values the people in his life. Now he has actual parents that don't really know about all this. I believe it's an ability that Rias has done, or Rias has, to where she can kind of like alter the memories and things like that. So there's a moment where Rias has Ozia move into Issei's home, and then at a certain point, Rias moves in as well, and so not just Rias and Ozia get to a point to where like they're fighting over Issei, but Akano does as well. Um, Kokono doesn't. A little bit later on, she starts to, um, but it's just Issei's character of always wanted to take care of his friends and his family in the Gremory family. Um, and then we learn like sorry. So we also learn a few other things as well, and we learn more about the world as well. So they go to high school. They're all in high school. They basically all do the regular 4 years of high school: freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Rias and I think Akano are seniors. Um, I think Kiba and Issei are sophomores. Kokono is technically a freshman. By the way, there's not really a clear timeline of the events of this series. Like they all could take place within a couple of weeks of each other or months of each other. There's not really a clear timeline of that, but that is beside the point. So we even get we even get to a point to where um we meet other characters as well. So I mentioned with there's the whole arc with the holy swords, like Excalibur, just these magical swords. Now Kiba does have one. He has the ability. His sacred gear is it's like he can make different types of swords and stuff like that. But a character development for him is basically avenging the people who basically sacrificed their lives for Kiba to escape when basically the church was like had no more use for these people in this experiment when they were trying to work with these holy swords. Um, and so because of that, we come across some extra characters as well throughout mainly season two. Where in season two, when we not only meet, we meet more of Lord Zetch, we even meet Rias's parents as well. Um, we also meet Zenobia and Irina. Now, Zenobia and Irina are in are in the town to find some sacred swords or some holy swords that they've been tasked to gather. Now, Zenobia eventually does um, joins the Gremory family, and that's primarily because of a revelation that again I kind of want to keep. I mean, the show's been out since 2012 and into 2018, but I kind of want you to go watch it yourself, not just because of the anime titties and all that stuff, but I think it's a really good show and really good story. But Zenobia um, learns a hard truth about something in this world to where she basically gets excommunicated from the church because it's a secret that only a select few know about. Zenobia learns about it due to a rogue fallen angel trying to restart the war. Um, but because of her knowing about it, she can't stay. She gets excommunicated, and so she ends up joining the Gremory family as the other knight, as a second knight. Um, Irina, she gets very upset about it, but eventually she learns about what had happened. She becomes an angel. She gets like angelic wings, which is really cool, and she sticks around a lot more and transfers to the school with the Gremory family, and basically adventures with them a lot of the time. Um, we get as well towards the end of the season two, we get Gasper, who is a half vampire who has the ability to like freeze time. I when I first watched it, I was just like, "Oh, this is a cute girl," but it turns out it's just a boy who likes to wear the female outfit. Which I was like, "Okay, that's fine. That's cool." But Gasper, he's such a cool character, and he gets his own moments to shine throughout the season. Really, in the final season when they're doing the rating game against Sariorg. I'm so bad at pronouncing his name. Um, as well. That is something they have here as well. Is this thing called the rating game where it'll be like families going against each other for like status and stuff like that. We see it first with oh, what is his name? It was it was a Phoenix dude. I can't remember his name. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Cause I was like, damn, I can't remember his name. It's like the Phoenix dude. What was his name? I want to say Riser. So it was kind of like a ratings game with Riser, and that was the first time we saw it, and then we saw it in season four with uh Sariorg and his team. Um, what else about this show? So I mentioned how one of the themes of it is the relationship between Rias and Issei, and it's an ongoing theme throughout the season. It kind of Rias does get jealous. Um, she does get jealous because you got Akano, got Zenobia, Azia. They're all basically like fighting over Issei because each one has their own kind of moments with Issei that kind of like bubbles it over into that situation to where like most of them are trying to like sleep with him at this point. And it's just so funny because like one of Issei's dreams, he wants to be a high ranking devil. He wants to be the harem king. And I'm just like, buddy, you're technically already are the harem king because you have all these ladies, and there are moments where he is like he's in the bed with like all the female characters. Maybe not Irina, but like Zenobia, Kokono, Azia, Aniko, and Rias all just in the bed with them. It's just like, buddy, you are the harem king. What are you talking about? But that is it's wild. Um, so the animation that I mentioned at the beginning, I love the dark tone, the color tones of the show in the first two seasons, and then they changed it to a little bit more brighter color, which I was not really a big fan of watching it. It was such a jarring jump. I was just like, oh, this is okay, this is interesting. And then not only that, the original voice actors for Issei and Aniko left. Now the one for I was originally mad about it, but then I delved into it and looked into it. So the voice actor or the original voice actor for Issei got arrested for things he should not have. He should not have very much illegal stuff he should not have been doing. But so that's why he didn't return. It took a while for the new guy to come in, and me get used to his voice and everything, but it grew on me as the season went on. And then the one for Aniko, I believe this one was weird because I believe I read she left to become a librarian, and then she left that to go do something else, which was interesting. I don't know if her voice ever fully resonated with me. Aniko's character was much more of a like a dominatrix kind of thing. Um, but I mean, overall, she was fine. Trying to think who else, and then we just meet. There's this world is so full of stuff because there's different like you have in seasons. I think it's seasons three. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Let me make sure I'm right. Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, what is this? I don't think are these specials. I'll come back to that in a second. I didn't recognize these specials. Um, let me see. So you also have oh, see, I lost my train of thought. Oh, you have like the Norse gods. You have the Greek gods. You get Loki, Odin, even the Hades involved. You get yokai from um where did they go to in the fourth season? Was it oh it was where did they go? Was it Kyoto? It might have been Kyoto. They went there was a couple episodes where they were like in a different city. I can't remember the name. But you also see characters like Azazel, Beelzebub, um, Saint Michael, who's in charge of things in heaven for a specific reason. Obviously, Lord Zech as Lucifer. Um, and then you there's who what else was there about this show? So yeah, that's so. Other than that, um, I really liked the series. I thought it was fun. Let me check something real quick. 'Cause I think I watched. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure I watched them all. because I saw it on IMBD. There was like specials. I was like, what is that? I don't recall that. Let me make sure. Because I'll be mad if I missed that. I don't think I did though. Uh, um, but basically by like the end of the final season, yeah, I thought so. What are these specials then? I mean, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, okay, never mind. These were something. Okay. Oh, okay. Um, hmm. I'm about to look to see where these are because I did not see. I didn't see these on Crunchyroll. So now I'm gonna go check that out. Anyway, that's beside the point. All right, guys, High School DxD. I really like the series. I got very much upset that it was over after I finished watching it. I was like, oh, this sucks because I really like this series. Like I was watching 3 or 4 episodes a day. So I went through it relatively quick. The animation in the first 2 seasons I really loved. Seasons 3 and 4 kind of grew on me as I went on to watch it. I thought the characters were great. The character development was really good for a lot of these people. Um, the action was pretty fun. Just overall pretty solid. I don't again we don't know if we're gonna get a season 2 or a season 5. I hope we do. I would love to see it, but we'll find out. Hopefully someday. Hopefully someday. But guys, that is basically it. That is my thoughts on High School DxD. If you have not watched the series, I highly recommend going and check it out. You can also check out my thoughts on Goblin Slayer from the previous week. You can also find me on the gaming channel, the Nerd Talk Podcast on Spotify, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, all that you can find down in the description below. But guys, thank you again for hanging out. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Y'all have a good one.